and welcome to Look North with me, Alison Freeman. Coming up on tonight's programme, saving lives, the mobile cancer scanner that's detected hundreds of cases, and a message to those tempted to ignore appointments.
Oh, just go. It took at the most half an hour out of my life, so for safety.
Also tonight, as an urgent call goes out for foster carers, we meet a young woman whose life was transformed by them. The campaign to buy the Rothbury estate hits a major milestone, but some say it's dividing opinion.
I would put it very much akin to the Brexit vote. I would think it was that finely split.
And looking for a loo, the growing problem of a lack of public toilets. And Dawn's here with tonight's Team Talk.
Yes, Michael Bridges joins me on a huge night of Championship football as the top two, Middlesbrough and Coventry, prepare to go head-to-head. And still dreaming of Wembley after wins on the road. But could the Magpies meet the Black Cats in the fifth round of the FA Cup?
It saved hundreds of lives and changed the way cancer is detected. The Tees Valley Lung Cancer Screening Programme invites former and current smokers to get their lungs checked for free at mobile scanners in supermarket car parks across Teesside. Over the past 3 years, 360 people have been diagnosed with lung cancer through the programme, with many showing no previous signs or symptoms. Our region has the highest rates of lung cancer in the country, and early detection is vital. Stuart Wincup has the story.
Les used to smoke 40 cigarettes a day. He stopped almost 20 years ago when his first grandchild was born.
I half expected it. I had no symptoms whatsoever, but if you smoke all your life, you knew you'd inclined to get it, so yeah.
Les's lung cancer was discovered when he visited a mobile scanner in a supermarket car park. He said that trip to Asda saved his life.
It's a no-brainer to me just to get it, you know what I mean? I'd imagine I'd be dead, basically. I'm not a person that runs to the doctors every 5 minutes. I would have held back, you know what I mean, to a state. I would have got a cough and know that, and I would have ignored it for ages.
The screening programme invites past and current smokers aged 55 to 74 to get their lungs checked.
You may breathe normally.
Our region has the highest rates of lung cancer in the country, and early diagnosis is crucial. Over the last 3 years, this screening programme has detected lung cancer in 360 people. Now, the crucial thing here is it's found early, usually at stage 1 and stage 2. That means it's more treatable, the cancer is more confined, and the survival rates are far higher. Health bosses say the lung screening programme has completely changed the lives of many patients across the area.
I was appointed here in 2007 to look after lung cancer as a surgeon. And when I arrived, and for the first 13 years, 80% of people who had lung cancer had palliative care. They couldn't have curative care. But what comes off the CT scanner is 80% curative. So in a way, we have flipped cancer from 80-20 one way to 80-20 the other way.
Les underwent chemotherapy and radiotherapy, and he's now been told he's in remission. His advice to others invited for a scan is clear.
Oh, just go. It took at the most half an hour out of my life, so for safety.
Stuart Wincup, BBC Look North.
Nice to have a bit of positive news, and here's another inspiring story. A woman from Northumberland who says foster carers gave her a life she never imagined is encouraging people to consider fostering. The North East has the highest number of children referred into foster care in the country, and carers are urgently needed. Earlier this month, the government pledged to create 10,000 new places for vulnerable children to try to meet growing demand across the country. Megan Patterson reports.
Kelsey is like any other university student, juggling deadlines, placements and a busy social life.
I started uni September just gone, and it is very hard going, I will admit, but I'm actually really enjoying it.
Studying social work at Northumbria University, this isn't a place the 20-year-old imagined she'd find herself. 10 years ago, Kelsey was placed into foster care.
When I first went into care, I wasn't very happy with it, as you can imagine, because it is like a family breakup. And I remember I was not willing to give the social workers a chance at all. And then the older I've got, I've kind of came to the sense that, well, they're not the bad people.
Kelsey's joined Northumberland County Council's campaign for more foster carers to help meet demand.
I've got more of a closer relationship with like my foster carer Claire, because she's like the mother figure that I wish I had when I was younger. This is why we need to have more foster carers who are like, actually, I want to give that child the life that they deserve.
Across the 12 North East local authorities, there are more than 6,000 children currently in need of care, but there are only 1,500 approved foster carers available. Councils say support for new carers is a priority.
You know, I have the utmost respect for our foster carers. They do a phenomenal job, so it's really important that we invest in them, that we support them, we give them access to training, and you know, that wider support as well.
Kath Nixon knows all about the challenges of foster caring. She's been doing it in Northumberland for more than 20 years.
Don't get me wrong, fostering isn't easy. You have your ups and downs, but in my memory, I've got so many positive memories and so many success stories of the children. That's all I focus on, and there's nothing better to see a young person come in who are afraid to come in your home, they're grieving their own family, they're a bit resentful because they don't know you. Sometimes you can't fix something, so we just listen, and then your home's open, and then they start trusting you.
From Kelsey, a final message to young people in the care system and to her younger self.
Anything is possible. Like, it sounds cheesy, but if you literally put your mind to it and put your head down and listen to everyone who's there to support you, it can happen. I'm literally where I am because of my carers and my social worker.
Megan Patterson, BBC Look North.
In other news, a man has been arrested after a woman in her 50s was killed in an alleged hit and run in the Farringdon area of Sunderland. Police were called to Durham Road near the junction of Arbroath Road at around 11 p.m. on Saturday after reports that a woman had been struck by a dark-coloured 4x4 which drove away. The 27-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. Officers are appealing for anyone who saw a black Volvo XC90 in the area to get in touch. The final station on the Northumberland line is set to open at the end of next month. Bedlington Station will welcome passengers for the first time on the 29th of March. There have been more than 1 million passenger journeys since the first stations opened at the end of 2024. The completion of the 6th and final station marks the end of the first phase of the £330 million scheme to bring passenger rail back to South East Northumberland for the first time since the 1960s. Right, now let's take a look at some more of today's stories, which can also be found on the BBC News app. A rioter who repeatedly struck police officers with bricks and metal poles during disorder in Sunderland in August 2024 has been jailed for 2 years and 8 months. Plans to build 117 homes on a 12-hectare site next to Gisborough Forest have raised concerns from objectors over the impact on wildlife and the tranquility of the area. And the first performance in 6 years of the charity variety show Sunday for Sammy in Newcastle featured surprise appearances from Sting and Lewis Capaldi. Those stories and more on the BBC News app and online. Now, campaigners hoping to buy the Rothbury estate for £30 million from the Duke of Northumberland's youngest son are now over a third of the way to their target. Northumberland Wildlife Trust and the Wildlife Trusts have until September to raise the money and say they'll not only boost wildlife but promote nature-friendly farming if they succeed. They also say if they don't raise the money, the estate could be broken up. But critics have described the campaign as the most divisive issue in the area since Brexit. Mark Denton reports.
Conrad Dickinson is a polar explorer. He crossed Greenland, Antarctica and reached the geographic North Pole on his own. But the hills above Rothbury are special to him.
I'm born and
brought up in Northumberland, and when it's in your bones, it's in your bones. And yes, I've been fortunate enough to see some parts of the world, but I mean, this is just fantastic. A place steeped in history and bursting with life.
Comrades lent his voice to a video highlighting the Trust campaign to raise £30 million to buy the 15-square-mile Rothbury estate. This week, the campaign passed another landmark. 2 donations since the start of the year, totalling £1.5 million, means the Trust is now over a third of the way towards its target.
I mean, we've had over 18,000 people want to support this, you know, from people who, giving £1 million, but at the other end of the spectrum, you know, we've got school kids giving their pocket money or their birthday money.
But there are critics of the plans. Chris Armstrong is a tenant farmer near to the Rothbury estate.
The most recent strapline seems to be time is running out to save the Rothbury estate. The Rothbury estate doesn't need saving. Saving from what? I mean, we're one of the most beautiful areas of the British Isles here. We're well supported by tourists all throughout the year. I fail to see what the Rothbury estate needs saving from.
The Trust says it wants to reduce the number of sheep on the estate and increase cattle numbers, but they also want to eventually introduce another species, the European bison, extinct in the wild in Britain for more than 6,000 years, could be making a comeback.
Well, it would be immensely exciting to have bison in the hills above Rothbury. We've introduced bison into Kent woodlands really successfully. Never be in high numbers, of course, because they range over quite a big area. We've got plenty off plate, and we haven't even discussed it with local people yet. So, I mean, obviously, if people didn't want it to happen, we wouldn't make it happen.
Whether bison end up here or not, the Trust critics say the estate purchase is dividing the community.
I would put it very much akin to the Brexit vote. I would think it would be that finely split. I think the majority of the farming community see this as a folly.
At Rothbury Women's Institute's sewing group, you find a different view there. The group has raised £2,000 through fundraising towards the campaign.
The Wildlife Trust intend to open more footpaths and things, so on a selfish level, we're very keen for them to get the land. But for nature, it's just an amazing opportunity to get a wildlife corridor.
The Trust has until September to raise the money it needs to buy the estate. Mark Denton, BBC Look North, Rothbury.
Right, time for Team Talk now with Dawn and Michael.
Thanks, Ali. Yes, a winning weekend in the FA Cup for our 2 Premier League sides, and we'll have more on that in just a minute, won't we? But a huge game for Championship leaders Middlesbrough tonight, who are hoping to join them in the top flight next season. Borough could go 5 points clear if they win at second place Coventry, and that would be significant, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, no more incentive needed. And if you think that last time these two clubs met, Middlesbrough were 10 points behind Coventry. Frank Lampard has just credited the club to say it's incredible where they've come from. You've got the team in Coventry, the best home record in the division. You've got Middlesbrough, the best away record in the division. And Middlesbrough going to this, winning their last 6 matches. And Coventry winless in the last 3. So I can't wait to get home to watch this one.
They've certainly got the momentum, haven't they? But let's hope Kim Hellberg isn't victim to the Manager of the Month award. That's all I can say.
How I work, I'm trying to find a way for us to play the way we want to play against them. That's always the first thing. That's how I'm looking at the game. So we're going to go there and try to take control of the game. We're going to go there to play the way we want to play. We want to go there to like be ourselves. That's number one. That's the most important thing. And from that, we know that if we do that good, we have a big chance of getting result with us.
Right, to the FA Cup now. Newcastle are through to the 5th round, but Saturday's game against Aston Villa was surely one of the most controversial matches of the season so far. We do complain about VAR all the time. They didn't have it at the weekend, but the referees had an absolute nightmare, even if the result was right in the end.
So what's happened? The referees that are using VAR on a consistent, regular basis, scared to make decisions when it's not there because they're relying on technology. I think it's about time some of the lesser referees in the lower divisions that are not using it get an opportunity to showcase themselves and have a go when it's not in the big cups like this, because there was 3 players offside for Newcastle's opening goal against when Tammy Abraham got the goal. There was a red card decision that didn't get a red card for a tackle on move from Digne. And the only one one they did get right was obviously when the goalkeeper got sent off here, Bizet, for a sliding tackle on the halfway line, which changed the game after Newcastle had gone 1-0 down. This one, however, Dawn, a handball inside the area when you're jumping and you still land in the area.
It's shocking.
This is when it's shocking. They've both been stood down after this game.
Yeah, Chris Kavanagh and one of the linesmen have both won't play any part in the weekend's games.
Justice was done, however, because from the free kick there was a deflection. Tonali found the back of the net and he went on to score an absolute wonder goal.
And you know what? He's really stepped up, hasn't he, in the absence of Bruno Guimaraes? And you have to think that maybe he's going to be the talisman from now on, because Bruno will be missing for a couple of months. And how about this? A goal on your birthday for Nick Voltemada, and he really, really needed it. But players are backing the manager all the way.
We looked at ourselves just as us players in the dressing room, but most importantly for the manager, because I've known him more than half my life, and you know, you see all this stuff on the social media which he really does not deserve, and we're fully behind him, we're fully playing for him, and this one's for him also as well.
I think everyone needed it. I think when you're with this club, I think the expectations are quite rightly very high, and we hadn't hit the standards that we were looking for of ourselves, really. And yes, our away form has been much talked about. Hopefully we've proved to ourselves that we can do it with the last two performances. We've got many more big games to come, none more so than this midweek, so a long travel for us, but we're going there off the back of two great wins.
Yes, Newcastle at Karabag in Azerbaijan on Wednesday in the Champions League. Now, Sunderland's cup tie against Championship strugglers Oxford United suffered 2 pitch inspections due to pre-match rain. Some questionable decisions, though, in that game as well. And it wasn't always pretty, but they probably deserved it, don't you think?
Always going to be tough. Classic FA Cup tie to this one. You go away from home. Sunderland took a huge following down there. You never know what you're going to expect. Regis Fabrice made changes, and I think that will do them really well going back into the Premier League fixtures, because a few players need a rest. Helps when you get given a penalty early on. Diarra stepped up to give Sunderland the lead, but there was a big moment, Dawn, when Enzo Lafayette, I feel if there had been VAR, he possibly could have got a red card for this time.
Yes, I'm absolutely certain he would have done, actually. And it's a difficult place to play, this as well.
It is, absolutely. And what made it even tougher is that Matt Ingram, the Oxford goalkeeper, had the game of his life, pulling off 3 or 4 saves to keep the game at 1-0 and keep Sunderland at bay. But I think, obviously, Sunderland found a way and they'll go into the next round.
It's always difficult to know how many players to rest or not in a game like this as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think you got it absolutely spot on. Got the result, rested some players. There was a big moment at the end.
I think this could have gone either way,
It could have done. But look at 9 and the goalkeeper, Roofs. They stopped and they let the ball go in the net because they heard the referee's whistle.
Yes, and Regis Fabrice, no doubt, looking forward to the next round as well.
Our opponent today fought until the end, and on set pieces, long throws, we knew that they were efficient. But we were prepared for that, and I think it's often the case. You would like to score twice, but it's not easy.
Well, Harrogate are certainly showing some fight to try to stay in League Two. A win last weekend and a draw on Saturday against playoff contenders as well.
Yeah, that's still 4 points adrift from safety, but like you say, just starting to get a little run going. However, when Lee Bonner scored his 8th goal this season for Chesterfield, I thought the goalkeeper could have done better. I was thinking, could this have changed their momentum in this? However, he got red card in the second half, and Harrogate got a goal. Brennan, who's on loan from Wigan, saved a point. Now, for me, 2 results like that can change your season.
Let's hope it's not too little too late. York, though, back on top of the National League on goal difference after making the most of their man advantage at Wealdstone. There were 3 goals in the last 20 minutes, the best of the bunch from Daniel Batty. Rochdale could regain the lead tomorrow night, though.
Well, they certainly could, but Carlisle with a huge 3-1 away victory at Forest Green. David Ajiboy take a bow because he ran it from the edge of his own area to give Carlisle a 3-0 lead within the opening 30 minutes, can you believe? That, for me, one of the goals of the season. 9 points off top spot now, Carlisle.
Absolutely fabulous, isn't it? Things looking bleak, though, for bottom club Gates. Brackley had a 2-goal lead at the break before Mark Beck pulled one back for Rob Elliott's side, but it's really hard to see them getting out of trouble now. Hartlepool's game, of course, fell victim to the rain, as did Sunderland's game in WSL 2, but Newcastle beat bottom of the table Portsmouth to keep themselves in the promotion mix. Emily Murphy with the opener before Beth Lumsden added the second right at the very, very end.
Timing it just right for the end of the season. However, Durham had a long trip down to Charlton. They couldn't get the result. A 4-2 loss. It's always tough to go somewhere when you're playing the team that are top, who are 27 points ahead of you. However, Mariana Speck-Meyer with equaliser here. Sadly, the second goal was an own goal and it wasn't enough.
No, it certainly wasn't. Well, while we've been on air, the draw for the 5th round of the FA Cup's been taking place. Apparently, it's 50 years since both Newcastle and Sunderland have been in the 5th round.
You're going to tell me they've drawn each other?
They haven't drawn each other.
Come on,
it's
then.
not going to be
What's
a derby.
happened?
So, Sunderland are going to be away at either Port Vale or Bristol City.
Right, and Newcastle. Oh no, a home tie, however, but it's Manchester City.
It is who
again,
they play
next
weekend
right.
in the league, so never mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
See you next week. Now, here's Mark Drury with a reminder of how you can listen to tonight's big game in the Championship.
Middlesbrough face Coventry at the CBS Arena tonight in a clash of the Championship's top two. A win for Borough would give them a 5-point cushion at the top of the division. You can listen to the full thing with me and Neil Madison on 95 FM, DAB and Freeview Channel 714. Kick-off is at 8.
Should be
Thanks,
good one.
Dawn. Yeah. Right, now, here's a story most of us can relate to. Changing the subject, so have you ever found yourself feeling the call of nature when you're out and about and there's no public toilet in the area? A lack of loos has become a growing problem in recent years, with councils struggling to afford their upkeep.
Yeah, there's nothing worse, is there? And now a row has broken out about it in Whitehaven, where Bob Cooper has been in search of somewhere to go.
Plenty of public toilets have closed in recent years. Some have found interesting new uses. You'll probably spend more than a penny in this fancy Newcastle cocktail bar. And how about living in a loo block? These former Keswick conveniences are now affordable flats. I've come to Whitehaven, and after some hasty swigs of water, I'm on the lookout for a loo. This book, published in 2012, laments the fact there were once 9 gents' toilets in Whitehaven, reduced to a single palatial toilet block here in James Street. Well, unfortunately, said toilet palace was demolished in 2014 amid council cuts, and since then, Whitehaven has been a WC desert.
We've got lovely cafes, we've got bars on the harbour side, and no toilets. So visitors come in, and the first thing they're asking for is, where's your toilets?
As a parent, is it quite difficult when there's not sort of changing facilities that you can use?
Yeah, you are really limited. You have to either go for a coffee in Costa and pay to use theirs, or you're going back home.
A recent plan for new facilities here on Strand Street went down the pan after a row about funding. The local MPs blaming Whitehaven Town Council for not agreeing to fund the upkeep.
We've done huge amounts of public engagement, and the number one issue for the public that they want to see change is the introduction of public toilets. The Town Council have got responsibility here for Whitehaven Town Centre, and I would urge them to reconsider their decision to put money into other things.
The Town Council wouldn't comment last week, but previously said the cost would be exorbitant at £61,000 a year. A lack of loos in some places is annoying for most of us, but a serious problem for some with medical conditions.
It can make the difference between staying at home and feeling that you can't take part in everything that the region has to offer, and going out and living the life that you want to live, because Crohn's and colitis are lifelong, incurable conditions, and the symptoms include urgently needing to access a toilet.
Meanwhile, my quest for comfort has brought me to a well-known supermarket. Oh, that feels much better. But having used the supermarket loos, I felt obliged to buy something, and that could mean another toilet stop. Bob Cooper, BBC Look North, Whitehaven.
And you can see more on that story and catch up on the region's political news on Politics North on the BBC iPlayer. Right, time for a look at the weather now with Paul. And Paul, everyone's been very excited about these bits of blue sky we've seen.
We were all relieved over the weekend, weren't we? Yes, blue skies, some sunshine. Still cold though. So let's take a look at some of your weekend weather pictures. And we start off with Clive's shot this Herdwick, enjoying the view over Ullswater there, but it was blue sky but bitterly cold, still a lot of snow on the higher ground there, and Clive took this. Next up was still wintry over Rosebery Topping as well, but again, look at that lovely blue sky in Edward's shot. And people have been out and about all over the place at the weekend, especially on Saturday when we saw the best of the blue sky. Colin took in the lovely blue sky at Beamish Museum with his tram in the foreground. Now, as we head through this week, we start off with some cold conditions, some wintry showers, some frosty nights, then a drier, more settled spell perhaps through Wednesday and Thursday. And by the end of the week, things start to turn wet and windy, but much milder. So it will be a good bit milder by the time we get to next weekend. In the short term, though, it is cold. We've got a few showers around this evening, and they're wintry over the high ground, and there's a Met Office warning out through the night for icy stretches. One area of showers clears, another batch runs down eastern areas later in the night, and clear spells in between. So temperatures dip to around freezing, and as I say, scope for icy patches just about anywhere as we head into tomorrow morning. That northwesterly wind picks up through the course of the night, and the wind will be a feature of tomorrow's weather. So the early iciness clears, the wintry showers clear from most places as well, and then it's a mostly dry, bright day. Just the odd rogue wintry shower for eastern areas, but most places will miss those. We've got a gusty north to northwesterly wind, gusts in eastern areas along the coast there in excess of 40 miles an hour. You will notice that, and it's colder air as well. The temperature's down on today's 8s and 9s. We're looking at highs tomorrow around about 5 degrees Celsius. Add in that wind, especially in the east, and it will feel colder. So, as we head through the next few days then, weather fronts move across the south of the country over the next day or so, bringing most of the rain and hail snow further south, keeping us largely dry through the middle part of the week. But then as we head into Friday, things do turn wet and windy from the west, but changing the wind direction to a southwesterly, we'll see something a bit milder by the end of the week. So tomorrow it's still chilly, and that icy start to the day leaves a mostly dry picture, some sunny spells for many of us. A brisk wind though, and it will really feel quite chilly in that wind. Wednesday, a fair amount of cloud around, another change in the wind direction to southeasterly temporarily, 6, maybe 7 Celsius at best. It stays mostly dry through Wednesday, mostly dry for Thursday as well, same wind direction, perhaps a few more breaks in the cloud, especially in the west, a bit of brightness breaking through, and then wet and windy weather spreading in from the west on Friday, followed by scattered showers, southwesterly breeze, temperatures 8 or 9, and we're looking at double figures by the weekend. Alison.
Paul, thank you. I think I'd take cold over rainy at the moment, wouldn't you?
No, definitely. Cold and sun over rain and warm.
Very wet for the weekend. Yeah. Right, that's it from us for now. Jerry's back with the late news and the Borough Score at 10:30. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.